Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we're playing some more Dimir Faeries. This is a very different list from the usual Dimir Faeries. Usually I play kind of a control list. A lot of people recently have been trying to play a little bit more of a Dimir tempo list with the Faeries. But this is a particularly interesting list by Skura, who is one of the main Mono Blue and Dimir Faeries pilots, always innovating something. I played his Azorius Faeries list a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty interesting. And honestly, he's trying out a card that I've thought about trying before and never had the guts to do it, I guess, which is Peppersmoke. It's just a black mana for an instant, but target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, and if you control a fairy, draw a card. So obviously this could be low impact. The floor is pretty bad. It's -1/-1 for 1 mana, but the ceiling is you also get to draw a card, and maybe that 1/1 that -1/-1 clears a Refurbished Familiar, Sneaky Snacker, an Elf, so it could just be a straight up 2-for-1 for just a single black mana, which could be really, really strong. So we're playing a playset of these, as well as some cast down snuff outs, so we have a ton of removal for your Elves matchups, or any other creature matchup that we can think of. But we're also playing Pixie Illusionist. This is another interesting one, also a fairy, for a 1/1 for blue. Kind of, you can ignore the kicker. Maybe that'll come up to get 2+1/+1 counters, but it's a green kicker activation, so the only way we could do this is by using another one of these, because it allows you to turn a land into the basic land type of your choice until end of turn. Basically the same text as Navigator's Compass, but here we're playing it because it can help us get our black mana. So we are playing 5 black sources as well as 4 Lorien Revealeds, but this is additional ways to make sure that we're always having our black mana available whenever. This is interesting because a lot of times you want to play a blue 1-drop on turn 1, and then on turn 2 you want to maybe hold up a counterspell, maybe you want a ninja and replay that fairy. So you're often playing out island, and then eventually you get to the late game and you're like, oh, I have never played a swamp, and all my swamps are tapped. So it's really awkward because now I can't cast down for 2 more turns or whatever. The Pixie Illusionist can fix that, making it so that you can, in fact, play all blue lands and then eventually still have your black source on curve. So I'm pretty interested to see how it works. Obviously, there's not really any value from this, especially for picking it up, which can make it a little bit more awkward, because otherwise we're playing Fairy Seers, some Brinebearer Intruders, 7 Ninjas, 4 Spell Stutter Sprites, and 4 Counter Spells. We're also playing a couple Thorn of the Black Rose. This is a card that I would think is only best, or mostly best, in the control version, but seems that that's not necessarily the case, and in fact something that we actually would want to play here. So yeah, that's what we're trying. Our sideboard: 2 Envelops, 4 Hydroblasts, 4 Steel Sabotage, 2 Arms of Hadar, 2 Drugs of Progenitus, and a Dimir Aqueduct, which I saw Skura said online, just like it's an extra land, so you can more reliably get your mana and stuff like that against Madness, which is an interesting idea, not something I would have thought about, but we're gonna just take it from the expert and try this list. So let's just take it for a league and see how we do. Can I somehow convince you to test 1 to 2 Cavern Harpy in the deck? Cavern Harpy legitimately is a card that I've been thinking about trying in Dimir Fae at some point. To be honest, I'm not sure it's best in this version of the list because we don't have as many ETBs as you would want. Obviously, we still have Spell Stutter, we have Fairy Seer, Brinebearer, but I feel like that would be better in like a Fairy Miscreant list or something like that. Reluctantly, I think I'm going to say that we're just going to try the list as it is this time, better with Miscreant, but it is a good reminder that has been on my radar to eventually get to. So it might be a little while, another few weeks or a month or something, but I will definitely try to play that at some point. And I always appreciate the suggestions. But since we're already trying some interesting innovations here, I don't want to muddle that with something else this time. But yeah, I realized it had been a few months, I think since December, since I played any Dimir Faeries, which is generally one of my favorite decks. I mean, I play it in paper still. I just played it at my locals this last weekend. And so need to make sure to play. There's so many decks to play at this point, but I definitely need to make sure that I'm still playing Dimir Faeries every so often. So hopefully we'll get Cavern Harpy list in not too long. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. All right, we are on the play here, and We do have a tap land, Fairy Seer, and Peppersmoke. I mean, I think this is probably a keep. Question is, do I want to just Fairy Seer on turn 1, Strata hopefully find an island so I can hold up Counterspell on turn 2, or I could just Aquifer, but then I'm holding up Counterspell on turn 2, probably not playing Fairy Seer at that point. I think I want to Seer first and try to hit that land. And obviously if we find a Moon Circuit Hacker, this is good too. I obviously really like Spell Stutter. I think we need to not keep both of these, and Hacker works pretty well next turn. So I'm going to try not to get greedy and keep both of those, even though obviously Spell Stutter's fantastic. And we're against Rimewood Falls, so no idea what that means. If I had to guess, try to no-scope it, I would say it might be the new Pizza combo deck, just because that plays Temur lands. Hey, what's up, Ben? Got our Pixie Illusionist. Definitely wanted an island there, but if it is the combo deck, they probably don't have much removal, which means our Hacker can keep getting in. Get rid of one of these Thorns. I think we're going to play... I do want to hold up Counterspell, but I think we want to play Fairies here first to really try to make sure we hit a land with this Hacker. Because if it's... Okay, they Brainstorm. If the land is 2 cards down, then we can make sure to get it with the Fairies here and then the Hacker. But if we don't do the Fairies here first, we might not get it this turn. All right, another Illusionist. We already have one. We already have some Fairies. I don't think we need the Illusionist, but we'll definitely keep the island. And I'm happy to get rid of a Thorn here. Probably don't need it. The second one, that is. I could just play Pixie Illusionist, hold up Peppersmoke, so we can get in for 1 more damage, but I think I'd rather just hold up Counterspell. I don't think we need to force that. They're a Temur. Cyclogenericent. Doesn't mean that they're the combo deck. They could just be some other Temur deck. Temur Scred or something. Just pass. Island is good. I don't think I'm just going to slam a Thorn here. Because if they play like a Chrysalis or something, it could be tough. Yeah, they have a Scred. I don't think I'm going to counter that. Maybe we do just play Thorn then. If they have a Chrysalis, that's fine because we have a Thorn and then we have double Counterspell to back it up. If they are the combo deck, then they can't combo on the same turn. I think we do just play this, actually. Cycle another Generosant. I will say we haven't seen Screds or Generosants in the Pizza combo deck yet, or I haven't seen them in that list, so unless this is like an innovation, I'm not expecting it to actually be that. We're trying all the Illusionists, but I certainly expect like a Chrysalis. Yeah, that's fine, because we have a Death Toucher. Oh, and we just have a Snuff Out. That's pretty good. So I'd probably just Snuff Out. Then I get to attack with everything. Get in for 2. Play... I guess I might as well play 1 or no Illusionist, so I have up counters, like double Counterspell, but they could play like a Breath Weapon or something. I think we'll just go for the damage. Play 2 of these out. I could hold up Peppersmoke, but I'm not really expecting to use that. I don't want to cast it on a spawn because it's not a very valuable creature, plus then they can sack it and we won't get our card draw. We'll draw off the Monarch. Hi there, I tagged you on Blue Sky, but I won an event with White Weenie Leo yesterday, and your guide was a huge help. Thanks so much. I'm very glad to hear that. That's great. Congrats. And yeah, I think that deck's really good. I've been considering taking it to some bigger events pretty soon here too. But I'm glad the guide was helpful, so that's great. Sakura Tribe Elder. I don't think I care about that. Clearly they're ramping to something, which could still be combo. It could just be to like Generosance and whatnot. Another thing that I could Peppersmoke, but they sack in response and then I don't get any value out of. So I don't think we're going to do that. But I'll leave back Thorn, hold up double Counterspell here, hit for 3, and pass. They're going to sack the Sakura Tribe Elder. Went 7-0-1, didn't drop a gain into top 8. That is awesome. Got a boarding party. Okay. Pulse of Marasa to get back Chrysalis. We're going to counter the Pulse because it's a lot of life and Chrysalis is a pain. I don't know if I care about the boarding party because I could just trade with a Thorn. So I think I'll hold this. Was the only woman at the event too. Very nice. Representing. All right, we'll trade here. If Peppersmoke obviously would have changed the math there, I would have used it, but otherwise, but it doesn't, so no reason to do that. Swing. We'll ninjutsu the Fairy Seer. Hit for 4, draw a card. Brine Barrow. Play a Seer. Cast down is good. I don't think we need an island. Play Ice Tunnel. We'll just pass. Here I can hold up Brine Barrow and Peppersmoke plus cast down or Counterspell. If they just have like another boarding party, we can just do something. We'll figure it out. They do. Also, they're holding up red, so they probably have a Scred here. Lightning Bolt for an Illusionist. I think that's fine. Don't think I need to counter this because I can just cast it down. They're going to Scred the Seer. Yeah, that's fine. Cast down the boarding party, and I could flash into Brine Barrow. Hit for 4. We still have a Counterspell and a Peppersmoke. I think that's fine. Counterspell is great. Swing. We will loot. Ninja. I don't think I really need the Ninja. Maybe I don't need the Peppersmoke, but I kind of like having the extra counters here. I'll keep a Counterspell and a Brine Barrow. I already have 2 Counterspells in hand, but I get to draw the Brine Barrow here in case that changes anything. Did you get a haircut, Marsh? I did. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. For a long time, I just grew it out for like 2 years and then would cut it every time I had it in a ponytail, and I've been trying to keep it a little more consistent for every couple of months or something. They kill that, but they can't do anything. They can still just die to blocks here. They are still just dead, so no reason to counter that even. Been fiddling with the Dimir Fae, lost with Snarling Gorehound. Interesting. That's one that we've, a lot of people have tried. Some people recently have been trying it again in Black Sack as a way to surveil every single time you play one of your little guys. Definitely interesting. I mean, Menace is evasion, so it helps your ninjas get in if you're doing that. That's cool. Peppersmoke your creatures. I could, just to draw. So they're just like a Teamer Cascade, ramp into Cascade. Hydroblast counters a boarding party, but just the creature, not the Cascade. Envelop, don't think we need. I don't think we need anything here. Missed the intro. What's the logic behind the Pixie Illusionist? Mana fixing seems pretty irrelevant when you have 5 Lorians and 5 duels. Yeah, so this is Skura's list. He's been testing it out. And I agree there are already a lot of tap lands / Lorien revealeds, but I was explaining, if turn 1 you generally want to play Island into like your Fairy, and then turn 2 you either want to like Island into Ninja, or maybe you want to fit Moonscircuit Hacker into replay your Fairy Seer, and then you find yourself on turn 3 or 4 without a tap land down, and you have no black mana. And then if you get tap land into Snuff Out, you can use that right away, but if not, and you get your cast down, then you're 2 turns away from using cast down, and so it's like really slow to have your early game perfect and then also your mid game perfect. And so the Illusionist is trying to help that, bridge the gap a little bit, so that if you play a tap land, well, you can tap this for black on your land, and then you can still use your cast down. I'm not confident it's the best thing ever, necessarily. The Illusionist I am a little skeptical of, although the Peppersmoke I think could be really good. But it's something he was trying, and I think is pretty interesting here. If we saw like Cleansing Wildfires or something, maybe I'd do Hydroblasts. They're going to bring in Red Blasts. Maybe that's the reason to do this. Is there anything bad in our deck? Not really. I think I just want to resubmit here. We'll see. Maybe if we get crushed game 2, we'll change things up a little bit. Yeah, Peppersmoke seems nice. Yeah, especially in a meta with so many elves, sneaky snackers, refurbished familiars, a lot of 1 toughness creatures that are pretty relevant. It can be the old 1 mana like cryptic command kind of a thing, where it's 1 mana, not counter draw, but kill something and draw, which is pretty cool. Kind of like a disrupt, which counters an instant or sorcery unless your opponent pays 1, and then you draw a card for a blue mana. Not always great. If they just have 1 to pay, it's not that big of a deal, but if they don't have it, you counter a thing, you draw a card for 1 mana, and it's like the best card you've ever played. Sort of taking this slot of Brinebearer Intruder. Yeah, it fills a similar role, but we're actually also playing Brinebearer Intruders. But we can actually like pair those up. Like we can make something with one of each of them. We can do -3, -1, which, you know, can throw something off quite a bit. And opponents just are not expecting combat tricks very much. So Brinebearer is good, and obviously well known enough people expect that, but -1, -1 can absolutely throw somebody off. Like they could, you know, their Kessic Flame Breather could block our Ninja the Deep Hours, thinking that, well, there's no way we're gonna have like a -1, -1, and then we do, or a pump spell of any kind. So I don't know, never underestimate being able to just surprise your opponent with something and throw them off. A lot of times rogue decks that are objectively less powerful than meta decks can do really well simply because your opponent's not expecting, and then thus not playing around the right cards. So maybe, you know, you're playing against a tier 1 deck and your brew is like a tier 2 or tier 3, but if they're playing around it in ways that are bad because they're not expecting the right cards, then you can make up a lot of that ground of raw power with like making them misplay, which is one of my favorite parts of brewing, is doing that. Still sometimes wonder why Snuff Out gets played less and less in Gardens and Jund, while Blue-Black Faeries plays a full 4, which feels like a lot. Sure, it's a different deck, but shouldn't Snuff Out either be good or bad in the current meta? I mean, yes and no. There are times where it's either good or it's bad. Like when Brood Scale was at its height, Snuff Out was basically a must play. And in Jund and Gardens and those decks you're talking about, Snuff Out was like a 4 of, because it was so important that you had some sort of interaction on turn, 2 if you're on the draw. So sometimes it is that way. I think we're going to keep these both. But some decks just want the free spell a little bit more. So I guess we want to Moonscircuit Hacker and then replay the Seer here. Although we already know what's on top. I guess we're going to draw it. So Faeries is really nice to have Snuff Out because this version's like a tempo deck, but if you're saying like Dimir Faeries, like the control version, we're a control deck that wants to play, like, basically tap out on turn 1 for a fairy if we can, tap out on turn 2 for a ninja. You know, sometimes we're tapping out for other reasons. But Snuff Out obviously just makes it better to tap out. Like, it's easier to tap out. I'm trying to think of a better way to explain this because I feel like I'm not quite doing it. Let's just replay the Seer. But since I have an idea for this, let's take, I think I'm just going to bottom both those. Let's take Dimir Terror as an example. Dimir Terror is great for the Snuff Out because not only are you spending your first few turns brainstorming, pondering, mental noting, filling your graveyard, using up your mana, and so if your opponent has like an aggressive start or something, you want to have a way to kill their guy. But it's also a free spell that you can put into your graveyard to fuel your terrors. And a lot of those terror decks play Unexpected Fangs, 1 or 2 copies in their main deck, which means that you already have a way to gain life. And especially in matchups like Elves or something, where the life gain is not super relevant, Snuff Out gives you a way to make that life gain more relevant, because it gives you a way to use that as a resource. Obviously, you already start with 20, but if you draw all 4 of your Snuff Outs and Snuff Out down to 4, even against like an Elves deck, they can maybe just attack you with a bunch of 1/1s and kill you. But if you have an Unexpected Fangs that's gained you 12 life, then it buffers there, and it makes it a lot easier to like use your Snuff Outs reliably. And so... yeah, so I think that's part of it. It's also that, like, as far as Gardens just has so many more removal spells to play. You know, Tithing Blade doesn't really do anything for us, but if in a deck with Fanatical Offering, it's totally fine, because you can sacrifice it or whatever. I think here, I'm not really expecting Peppersmoke to do that much in this matchup. We already have 1. It does just draw us a card. If we have 2 up, we can like trade a boarding party and 2 of them with a Fairy Seer. I think we'll get rid of 1, keep the Fairy Seer, play the Tunnel here. I don't know. So that's part of what I'm thinking. I think Gardens has a lot of removal plus rats. Fairies has cast down and normally is mana tight. So Snuff Out can be a better answer. That's yes, I would agree. Like a succinct way to put it. I think personally, I always want to make Blueback Fairies a heavy control deck rather than mono blue tempo build with a black splash. Yeah, I really like the control version of Dimir Fairies. That's like one of my main decks, especially in paper. So I do that too, but I also think for anybody who likes mono blue, I've heard mono blue's not in a great spot right now because it loses to elves, it loses to a lot of these things. So they're trying to keep the mono blue shell, but adapt it to the meta. And Snuff Out's a really good card right now, as we can see in this deck and Dimir Terror and things like that. Perfect time to be weed whacking. Alright, we're going to Fairy Seer, we're going to Snuff Out the Chrysalis, we get to attack. Cast Down and Spell Stutter, we're definitely keeping both. Spell Stutter for 3. We already have a lot of removal, so I think we'll just keep the Spell Stutter on top here. Kill Chris. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons. I'm sure tons of like little things that I'm not even thinking about to do this. I don't want to play into the Breath Weapon more. Let's keep this in hand. But also something like Gardens has, as Al here mentioned, has like Crypt Rats, right? So you have, if you don't kill everything on time, then you can make up for that by doing a board wipe and killing everything on turn 5 or 6, right? Whereas we don't have a board wipe or anything in our main deck. And so we want to be able to kill things on curve. So like Snuff Out something on turn 2, you know, cast down something on turn 3. And it's a lot easier to do that while being proactive with the Snuff Out. All right, we know there's a cast down on top. I do kind of want to cycle Lorien for a land, but I think we don't want to get rid of that cast down, so I don't think we're doing that yet. Let's just attack. What would be your thought on a single blue-green duel to fetch with Lorien in case you want to turn your Pixie Illusionist into a 3/3 against John Grixis? Yeah, I could Sprite this, but then if they have a Breath Weapon, it's pretty bad. So I think we'll just let it go. I was kind of thinking of that. When I looked at the list, I was actually looking to see if there was... I thought the Side's Tunnel might be a blue-green land, and then it was not, obviously. But... I don't know if it's necessary. Like, obviously, it could be a tap land that, like, tap lands are bad and suck, so it's not great to play a tap land that mostly doesn't do anything. And I will say you can use one Pixie Illusionist to make green for the next Pixie Illusionist. I'm one fairy off of countering that. That's annoying. So there already is a way to do it, and so I think since it's probably going to come up so infrequently that I probably wouldn't want the extra tap land personally. Hadn't thought of that. Yeah, totally fair. I could cycle the Lorien here for a land drop, but we don't desperately need the land drop, and I could just want to play a Lorien. I mean, if I just draw a land here, I'm not going to just slam a Lorien because we don't want to tap out, but, like, still not bad. Again, I could spell stutter, but then we get breath weaponed. I don't think we need to do that. Plus, if they, like, boarding party and do hit, like, another Pulse of Marasa, I could spell stutter that. Okay, Altasaur, they're also playing. Cast into the fire. There we go. So that I'm going to spell stutter. Then I'm going to cast this down. I could use, like, Peppersmoke. Oh, that's good. Just to cycle it, but we didn't really have the mana. Okay, now I am going to cycle the Lorien because we drew a Thorn, which I want to play, and we're going to be drawing cards anyway. I think we're going to swing... Oh, we have a Snuff Out. We're going to swing with everything. I kind of wanted to leave 2 back, because if they get, like, Boarding Party into Scred, they kill this and then attack, take the Monarch. But since we have the Snuff Out as a second line of protection anyway, I think it's fine to attack with everything. If we didn't have Snuff Out, I would leave back the Illusionist. They have a Rumble. Totally fine. Brainstorm, Scred, Lightning Bolt. They can't grab any of those, so they're getting a Genercent. So they need a land to be able to play. Pyroblast for Spell Stutter. Okay. And then an Elder. All of their 1 toughness creatures sacrifice, so this Peppersmoke's so bad. I could definitely cycle it on my own creature if I need, so it's not that bad, but it is just kind of funny. Alright, we'll attack for 2. Spell Stutter Sprite was a great draw. We still have removal. I'm feeling pretty comfortable here. Draw from the Monarch. They're gonna sack Steve. Hey, Steve. And we draw a Cast Down. Very nice. I don't think he has Breath Weapon wasting Pyro on SSS. Yes, I agree. Now that we saw that, I definitely don't think they have a Breath Weapon here, unless they just top decked it. But before that, I wasn't 100% sure. They're at 5, so I don't think there's a reason to flash in the Spell Stutter, because it's not like it gives us lethal, so let's just... Because even if I flash in Spell Stutter, Peppersmoke this, not only do we only have 4, but they also have a food token, so let's just not waste that counterspell. I think I will attack here. They have 1 card in hand. We have Peppersmoke, Snuff Out, and Spell Stutter. I mean, I guess if they were going to sack that food anyway, it's not great, but like they probably weren't going to unless we made that attack, so... Lorien's good. Genercent. Gaining some life, but not too worried about it. Let's just Snuff Out. Gain 3. Aquifer. We will just Lorien. Hacker. I think I want to just leave up Spell Stutter. Yeah, here I am just going to attack for 2. They gained a little bit of life. We could, so like we're not quite killing them. And if they do get a boarding party, we don't have the Snuff Out now, so... Although Counterspell is good, because we didn't have an answer to a boarding party at all. Now we do. We're going to counter that. Another Peppersmoke. I wish we were actually able to use some of these Peppersmokes. Show them off a little bit. Let's Spell Stutter, or rather Moonstruck Hacker. I know what my cards are. Draw a card. Fairy Seer. Snuff Out an Lorien. Yes. Although I should have done it in the other order, so let's change that. So I draw the Snuff Out at the end step, and then can use it this turn if I need it. Cycle a Bountiful Landscape. Alright, what they got? Another Altasaur. Into the boarding party. They got the nuts, but it's a little late. Okay, Sakura Tribe Elder, not quite the nuts. Yeah, let's just counter... I have 4. Now let's just counter the Elder, because it's just a blocker. Feels like you're in a pretty good position right now. I would agree. Oh, look at this. Block. Aw. They conceded. I was going to double Peppersmoke, and then we trade here. Plus, I got my cards back. We draw our Lorien and a 3rd Peppersmoke, so then I could Peppersmoke this again. We don't even lose our Faeries here. That would have been really funny. Taking away all our fun. Alright, so we have a turn 2 hacker on the play. Picking up an Illusionist isn't amazing, but I also like that we have a bunch of counter spells, so I think we're going to keep this. We'll play the Illusionist. Something red. Madness, it looks like. Discard Lava Dart Snacker. If I draw an island, I would probably just try to hold up Counterspell for like a way to get back the Snacker, but I did not, so... Here we go. For a second, I thought they might Lava Dart my hacker, which it would suck for our hacker to die, but them losing their first land would be probably pretty good for us. But here's the draw 2 with a mountain, not the worst. Okay, we hit our land drop. That's good. Swing and draw. Peppersmoke. Okay, so I could Illusionist smoke this guy. They could Lava Dart our Pixie so we don't draw a card, but again, if they Lava Dart this early, I think that's fine. I think I don't need 2 ninjas here. Yeah, I could wait to do the Peppersmoke, but I don't really see a reason to do that because that just opens them up to having a Lava Dart from hand or something. Plus, this isn't really killing much else in this matchup. So yeah, I mean, it cycles itself. Yes, they can get back their Snacker, so it's not necessarily like a full 2-for-1, but it makes them cast another draw spell here if they weren't going to anyway. Plus, they don't get in for 2 damage here, so there's good stuff. They have a Fiery Temper. We're still at 20, so they might just kill the hacker here. They do. Oh, Goaty, subscribed with Prime. Thanks so much for that. I hope the Hedron serves you well. They are going to kill the Illusionist now, sacrificing a mountain. Okay. Well, we got them out eventually. That's not bad. Blueback Ninjas go. First of all, hi. Hello. What are your thoughts on potential bans? I'm starting to worry that when Mono Blue Terror can sometimes splash for Sneaky Snacker, then it might be too ubiquitous. Yeah, that is fair. I don't think the format needs any bans at the moment. As always, I think the format is great right now. Really, really good. As always, there are cards that, like, I don't personally enjoy playing against, or decks that I don't enjoy playing against, but I don't really think there's anything that warrants a ban. If there was anything, it probably would be Snacker, I would agree. I think Refurb for a long time has been pretty busted. If we can grab the prize here with the Spell Stutter, that'd be really nice. Highway Robbery, we'll take it. Nice. And that's because they sacked a land. If they had another land, they might be able to, like, bolt this. Now we get to Ninja back Spell Stutter. Then we're not holding up Counterspell. Ugh, I think I should probably just Fairy Seer and then Counterspell, and next turn I can Ninja. Let's be disciplined. Peppersmoke's not bad. I wouldn't mind a land drop, though. Get rid of Brine Barrow. I think I'm going to keep it, though, because they're going to try to block with this next turn and we get to wipe it away. Yeah, so Snacker obviously is really good in the Madness decks, but now that it's showing up in, like, Dimir Terror, and Dimir Terror is doing super well, like, I could definitely see it needing to go, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Otherwise, I don't know. There's nothing else that I'm, like, dying to see go either. I think we're going to just Peppersmoke this, because we have a Counterspell, plus I want to hit a land drop. We are going to hold up the Counterspell, but then next turn I get to Ninja the Spell Stutter and have that back. So yeah, that's my thoughts right now. Second of all, I played 24-man tournament and got 1-1-3 with Jund. It was ridiculous. That is a lot of draws. Jund can go pretty slow for sure. Ninja back the Spell Stutter, so we have a counter for a 3-drop. Draw a card, play an Aquifer, and pass. Having all the decks below 20% seems really good at the moment. Yes, I agree. Could counter that, then they get like a draw 2. I already have another Ninja, I think that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think Pauper for a long time everything's been below 20%, but I feel like we don't even have that many decks above 10%, which is really nice. Mono Red Madness is probably like, I mean, like, taking the last Pauper-geddon, I think Grixis was at 10% and Mono Red was at like 12. Okay, obviously I would have preferred to counter the Ninja, but they obviously could have just bolted it, but I kind of think I'm going to counter here because I want to rebuy the Spell Stutter if I can with the Ninja. Now there's a lot less likelihood they have like a draw 2, because they would need land and then draw 2, and they can't even do that. And we do want to keep up our pressure. If they have a bolt, I still get to counter this one, so that's still not bad for us. They play a mountain. So we don't get to a Ninja Spell Stutter, but we were never doing that anyway with them having 3 bolts. I guess I could just slam Thorn, but I think Ninja's more damage quicker, and they just used a bunch of removal spells. Seems like it's less likely. It's not that likely for them to kill it immediately. We have a Thorn, so I probably don't need a Lorien. So let's cycle that for... might as well get a tap land, I guess, because I'm going to just play Fairy Seer. We'll get an island because we can bluff a Counterspell. Not that they're top decking, so bluffing isn't going to make a difference, because they're going to call our bluff every time, but it also doesn't really matter to get a tap land here. So I'll just do this. Definitely keep a Spell Stutter, and we have them dead next turn. They do have Faithless they can cast, but that's pretty much it. Here it is. Lava Dart is going to keep them alive because they can kill the Fairy Seer. It's like a Brine Barrow, but I'll actually save it because I might want to Thorn and then have a Brine Barrow to blank the Snacker's damage. Yeah, although we might just Spell Stutter. We'll see. But Snuff Out's okay. March, can you give me some tips on how to fight a deck that fits right for me as someone who is aiming to play as competitive as possible? They tap out for a Faithless Looting, so let's just counter that. How to choose a deck that fits right for me as someone who is aiming to play as competitive as possible. Are you meaning for online, your local meta, or large tournaments? Those are definitely fair questions. That does make a difference. I've found that you could play a lot of things at your locals that's easier than online tournaments or big tournaments. But how to fit the deck that's right for you, I mean, it depends on what your local meta and large tournaments in Brazil. It certainly depends on the local meta. So generally, you know, if you're trying to be as competitive and win as much as possible, you want to figure out what people are generally playing and figure out decks that like target those. So when I started playing Black Sack, I just really enjoy the deck, but also I started playing that and bringing it to my locals and doing really well, because the main decks that I saw at my locals was Terror, there was Madness, which actually isn't necessarily the best matchup, but there was Bogles, which I could destroy pretty easily. Like, a lot of things that Black Stack was just able to take advantage of. And there wasn't a lot of Grixis Affinity or Jund, which are some of our weaker matchups, or Boros Synth. So I mean, it depends on like what your local meta is going to look like. Real quick here, let's sideboard. Envelops, Hydroblasts, Relics are probably fine. Score a Zed to bring in Dimir Aqueduct? I don't understand that. I will say I almost never understand sideboard lands, unless we're like a combo deck. Brian Barrows don't seem super good here, to be honest. So we'll take his word for it, bring this in, but we'll try this maybe? I don't know. In my LGS, there's a lot of blue-black terrors, affinity, some elves, rally, and stuff. A lot of counterspells here. We're going to keep this. Elves and Rally both point to something with good board wipes. Yep, I would agree with that. So Elves and Rally, board wipes. Terror, just good removal, right? If you can kill their terrors, you're in a good spot. And Affinity, obviously Artifact Hate or something like that. Based on those, it sounds like to me maybe like Gardens or like Food Pest could be decent. You get the board wipes and crowd control for Elves and Rally. You get nice ways to kill terrors. You get a lot of graveyard hate in Bojuka Bogs and Nile Spellbombs for both Terror and Affinity. You can play like Troublemaker Ooves for Affinity as well. So all of that sounds pretty reasonable. The only one who has played Jund consistently, but I feel that I didn't improve or fit the Jund game. Sure, yeah. Yeah, if Jund doesn't fit for you, that's totally fine. I guess Gardens of some variety is relatively similar to... what do we do here? I think I counterspell. Gardens is kind of similar to Jund in that like Jund is like mid-range control and Gardens is just control, but they're often they play similarly. So they have another Robbery. White Weenie, nobody expects Holy Lights. That is true. White Weenie is really good against Rally. It's good against Terror. It's decent against Affinity. I would say it's medium against Elves unless you get like your sideboard cards of Holy Lights and Standard Bearers and stuff like that. But it can be decent for sure. They didn't do as much scary stuff as I thought. It was just one Robbery discarding a Mountain. Whereas I was worried if I countered this, they would have like grab the prize, discarding Snacker, we'd take 2, get their guy on the board. But luckily that did not happen. Faithless, they're clearly digging for something, so I think I'm going to envelop here. Flash it back, sure, but now they can't like Fiery Temper or anything. That's fine. I take my opponent playing Food Pest over Jund. No offense, Mark. I take no offense. That's totally fine. No, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I would prefer to play against Jund every single time, but not everyone is like that. That's okay. I kind of want to play a hacker so I can like get a ninja going, but they just have a Lava Dart engraved, so actually that doesn't make any sense, I don't think. So I think we're just holding up Counterspell here. Holy Light's like $12 in Brazil. That's brutal. Cards normally have grindy games intent to go to turns, which if you're aiming to competitive environment is bad. I mean, yes and no. I would say that if you're a veteran Gardens player, really know what you're doing, then it's a lot less likely to go to turns. Certainly it will still happen because it is a slower deck, but I think a lot of times decks like that go to turns because you have people who aren't playing as fast and don't know how to. So I don't know. I could just play a Moonstruck Hacker here and just, if they Lava Dart it, that's fine. I actually think that's maybe what to do. Man, I love Dimir Fae, but these Tempo Wish versions are kind of icky. I don't know. I like the control versions better, but like the couple times I've played the tempo versions, I've kind of enjoyed them. This one's doing okay. Right now it looks bad because we have all ninjas in hand, but that's going to happen. Unless your true name Nemesis who plays on 2x speed. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, if you are able to, there we go. Although we don't have a fairy, so that's not great. But yeah, if you know how to play the deck fast enough, like True Name Nemesis, then you get to that point and then you can not go to time as much. So it just takes a lot of playing the deck, for sure. Honestly, 4 of my games went to turns. It was exhausting, and there was no cut to top 8. Should I just kill this? Yeah, even if we get a fairy, they have double Lava Dart to kill it off, so I think we just take this 1 for 1. Yeah, if you don't want to go to turns, Gardens is probably, like, I wouldn't suggest Gardens if that's one thing you're trying to avoid. I think the White Weenie suggestion of Dirty Old Harry is not bad for that meta. I know you said Holy Light's expensive. That is unfortunate. There are ways around that. I mean, you already have a good matchup against Red Rally. You don't even need the Holy Lights for that. They are very good against Elves, but you can instead do more Standard Bearers. You can have more Journey to Nowheres. Even like Sunlance can be okay. That's like picking off a single guy. They improve some terrible matchups for normal Dimir, like Affinity or Coggates. But they make worse all the other matchups. Yeah, maybe. Doesn't mean it's just not fun to do different stuff. I think we're just being patient here. I actually love the garden suggestion. I was thinking about it. Yeah, I think that might be a good one then. I mean, if Holy Lights are expensive, I don't want to ask how much are Dust to Dust. Yeah, that's fair. So we're going to have to start discarding next turn. So it's something to start thinking about. Maybe I just want to spend some mana playing like a hacker this turn. We still have Hydroblast plus Counterspell up. So I think that's fine. I mean, they're clearly amassing a lot of cards, which is not great for us either, but I don't know. I bought the Red Madness too. Mr. Twin is from my city, so I can get his side guide and stuff. So I was like, well, which one should I try? Nice. That is handy, having an expert right there. I find that if the perfect sideboard card is too expensive, just play with something close. If you love that deck, you can get it eventually, and losing a couple percentage points in the meantime is not worth fretting over. I agree. Okay, so this is a Lava Dart from... It is from the graveyard. Okay. So I could Spell Stutter this, then they Lava Dart again, and then I Hydroblast. They probably have a Bolt for the Spell Stutter, so I lose everything anyway. But if I make them sack another land, maybe they're just getting me to tap out so they can, like, hit me with a bunch of stuff. They have 7 cards in hand. I think I just let it go. Yeah, and unfortunately, Pauper is just crazy, where a lot of times the sideboards are more expensive than the main deck because the sideboards are so ubiquitous across every deck. We're never tapping out for this Lorien with as many counterspells as we have, so let's just cycle it. Pretty sure I will try those. Good. Epicure. Here I could Spell Stutter. They Lava Dart, but they lose a land. Then I Hydroblast. They probably Pyro. Then I Counterspell. I think it's probably worth fighting over, like trying to get them to use resources at least. Like sacking lands is good for us because obviously they're a little flooded, like a lot of lands, but if they just have like 8 lands on board, it's a lot easier for them to kill us later. I'm gonna Counterspell here because Hydroblast is just better. They're gonna Fiery Temper it. Okay, they tapped 3. I thought maybe that was like a hard cast Fiery Temper. I feel like that says more about how cheap our main deck is than how expensive our sideboard is. They haven't played a land, so this is just 1 and 1. I mean, yes, our main deck is very cheap, certainly compared to other formats. But I mean, like White Weenie, I think is a big example. Like you can get a main deck White Weenie deck for like 20 to 30 bucks, I feel like. And then sideboard with Dust to Dust, depending on how expensive your Holy Lights are, is usually like 30 to 50. I think this is probably still worth going for. They'll probably have something for it, but whatever. So, I mean, yes, you're right, but I still think for all comments, that actually worked. That's crazy. Okay, they killed it after, but we still got the Epicure on. And now they're down to 3 cards, and we're still at 17, so we don't have to fret dying to, like, burst everything. That's really good. All right, now I'm just going to Ninja here. They've already used a lot of Lava Darts, but if they have another one, I'd rather play this than the Hacker. Yeah. Epicure is so annoying when you don't have Intruders or Augurs. Fiery Temper. I think we'll counter. If they have another way to kill it, that's fine. We're just... They have the Lava Dart, but now they're going to have to use the full thing, it looks like, or end the festivity. Okay. I mean, they're using resources very inefficiently. I'm not saying that they're wrong to do so. I'm just saying, like, this is pretty good for us. I could play a Hacker, and then we have a Hydroblast to keep it alive through a Lava Dart, but we actually don't have cards to, like, loot away very well. I think we'll just wait. If only there was a bonus sheet where expensive cards could be reprinted. Yeah, that would be nice if they actually took that as a way to reprint some expensive cards, but alas. So I'm probably not going to get anything spell studded here, so I'm actually going to go for the Hacker so that... It's weird because obviously picking up the Spell Stutter with the Hacker is really good, but now if they go for a Lava Dart on this, I get to Spell Stutter it, and then if they have like another something, it's a Hydroblast. That feels pretty good. We're going to do this. Couldn't they have sacked a land to kill the sprite after you countered it? After I countered... Was there a Lava Dart? There were so many things I can't remember. For Lava Dart, yes. If I countered a Lava Dart on top of that, then yes, they could have. They probably just didn't think about it, and I probably didn't think of it either because the stack was a lot. They're going to Fire Blast. All right, look, they're killing our creatures. I can't deny that. But they are now down to 2 lands, 1 card in hand, nothing relevant in the graveyard. Hardcasting Fiery Temper, yep, always a good sign. We don't need an island. I'm going to say they probably are not going to get a creature that Peppersmoke's relevant for, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Yeah. Well, apparently neither of us thought about that, recasting the Lava Dart plan, so that was bad on both of us. They killed the sprite anyways. Should have just killed it with the ability on the stack. Yeah, because then the Epicure would have resolved. I agree. So many red players are failing to Lava Dart on top of my Prismatic Strands lately. Oh, yeah. I mean, whenever you... Oh, double Snacker in the grave. Okay, that could be a problem, actually. Whenever you get, like, a million people playing a deck, you're going to get a lot of people playing it subparly. That doesn't sound right. They're playing it not very well. Hydroblast is good for the Faithless Looting, which I'm definitely going to counter, holding off the Snackers, but if they do get them back at some point, it's going to be trouble. Because all of this, and we're still both really high on life. They have another looting in hand? Well, that's outrageous. Monterey is not the control deck here, and I think that's something they're missing. Yes, that is a very good point. They are trying to kill everything here, and oh, that's a great draw. And probably not what they should be doing. Well, it was a great draw. A little worse once we drew those. Suboptimal. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Oh, what are we playing? Oh, we're not doing anything. Well, we're playing a little Peppersmoke, and we're playing a little. I haven't seen one yet. Pixie Illusionist. Just some crazy innovations that I found online from someone. I don't know who it was. Drawing a lot of lands here. We'll pass. Nothing screw. Don't worry about it. Crazy ideas. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This guy made up this crazy deck. Has already mentioned how much he hates it. Yeah, it's just, what are you doing, you know? We don't even have a green land to kick our Pixie Illusionists. Like, this is crazy. No, I was actually saying earlier that, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. This is turn 19, by the way. Just thought I'd mention that. I was saying earlier that Peppersmoke's actually a card I've seen before, and I thought could be really interesting in this kind of a deck list, and then I was just too lazy to make it work. But it's been pretty cool so far. Even just, I mean, I wish I had one now. Even just picking off a Snacker has been pretty cool. And like, if it was good, somebody would have already popularized it. EBFA has been played for so long. Yeah, exactly. There's definitely no room for innovation in this format. So not really any point in even trying, honestly. Stick to stock. I agree. No nonsense. This is what we need to be doing. Because as we all know, stock Dimir Faeries has been doing so well recently. 6 lands on top. That's how I roll, you know. Blue-white Fae. Ooh. Okay, they're finally not scared of the ninja. They have a Faithless in the graveyard is the problem. So if I just block, they get it right back. How many ninjas do we even have left? We saw Moon Circuit, Ninja. So we still have 3. Yeah, I think we're just going to take this. What would sideboards look like without red being so popular? My locals don't have much of any. One deck, and I'm not sure what a generic sideboard would be. Yeah, it's always tough when a lot of blue decks feature a million Hydroblasts. I think we've died. I think you took a deck list with 30 lands, which is likely wrong. Oh yeah, that was my bad. Sorry, I thought your land count looked a little low, so I just added like 12 more because I thought that seemed reasonable. Is that too many? Yeah, if your locals doesn't have like any red at all, like if you reliably know your locals is not going to have a red matchup, you don't have to play Hydroblast in your sideboard. Now, if red is so popular that if you just get like one random new person coming, they might be bringing red, and then if you don't have it in your sideboard, you could definitely be pretty bad then. But yeah, you don't have to waste that slot. I'm just going to block like this. I'm quite confident we're dead, but I don't think double blocking and letting them get Faithless Looting back both anyways is helping us either. So we are dead. This is the craziest 22 turn game I've ever seen. Squirrel, you should innovate Dimir Faeries by cutting the non-snacker blue and black cards and adding a red madness package. We can't even kick the Pixie Illusionist. That's what I'm talking about. Envelop is a cool hedge into likely no red. Yes, I agree. Envelop, great card to bring in against red, but also great against a lot of non-red decks. I mean, this is just kind of an all-star of the format in general, I feel like. Well, let's not draw 7 lands in a row or something. Your mic's about 2 times quieter than other streams, by the way. I don't mind adjusting volume, but thought I'd say. I don't mind you saying so. Same volume is quiet for me. Okay. I don't know why that is. But I will keep that in mind and look into it a little bit. This hand doesn't seem very good. We have 1 Hydroblast and then nothing. This one is a 1-lander with a lot of one drops we can actually cast. Sound a little far away from the mic, but it's okay for me. Okay, well, I definitely don't know what to do about that right now because I think everything's set to the max volume, but I mean, realistically, I am about a foot away from the mic, but this is about where I am usually, so I'm not sure why it would be different than usual. I think we have to mulligan. Okay, this hand is fine. Problem is I have one of these desks where the keyboard rolls out, so I have all this distance that's kind of mandatory between me and where my mic sits. I need one of those mics that I can chew on, you know. I don't have that right now. Hacker's pretty bad here, as is Nothing else. I mean, I guess Aquifer? So I could just like Relic and then hold up. I guess I can Relic and then I can hold up Hydroblast, so maybe I just Island? That seems greedy. Maybe I just put back Counterspell? That doesn't seem right either. Let's do this, I guess. Alright, we'll play a Relic and we'll pass. I think most people use Gain Filter and Limiter and stuff, but it's too much to think about right now. Yeah, I mean, I am really bad with tech stuff, so... I usually do pump up the sound in my editor, so that the YouTube video will be better, but obviously if it sounds bad here, that's not ideal either. I could Envelop, but actually, do I care about this when I have a Relic? Probably not. Like, they could Fiery Temper us, but that's fine. If they discard Snackers or whatever, I can obviously just get them with the Relic. I don't know. We will see. Yeah, Snacker and a Mountain. So we'll eat the Mountain. Take one here. But now I get to Relic away one of those two. And then if they keep the Faithless, I get to just counter or something. Oh, they can discard something else here. That's clever, but I still have a bunch of answers to everything. You can Envelop and Relic the looting right away. Yeah, that is true. But I kind of felt like if they discard Snackers and stuff like that and fuel their graveyard, where I can eat that with the Relic, like I'm not too worried about it. But you're right, that wouldn't have been a terrible idea either. Here's a looting. So I probably Envelop. I could let it go, and then I could just crack the Relic, but I think I'd rather keep the Relic around for now. If they Red Blast, though, I probably just let it go, and then I Relic. Now they grab the prize. Little do they know, all we have is counterspells. Although I guess they're double thinking about it. Plotting a robbery. So I could just crack the Relic, try to hit a land drop. We are getting good value, knowing that I have counterspells for the next draw spells. I kind of think that's fine. I don't know. We got a Faithless here. Problem is the Snacker in the field can be problematic as you don't have removal. Yes. I mean, I can still stop Snacker from coming to the field though, right? It's like currently I can counter just about everything, but also even if they do get something through, I can just crack the Relic. So maybe it was worse for them to have that stuff in the graveyard, because now I have to like think about it, but I don't know. Flashback looting. So I could counterspell, or I could just let this go, see whatever they discard, and then crack the Relic. I think I might do that now. The robbery would have let go. Interesting. Just because it taps us out and they could do something else, or if we let it go, we'd have to probably then pop the Relic for the Snacker, right? I mean, this I think I'm just gonna let go. Robbery is card neutral. Yeah, I certainly hate countering a robbery, but with so many counterspells in hand, it also felt like it was maybe okay. Snack on looting. Now you have to pop anyways. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I did have to pop anyways, and they they cast the flashback from the graveyard, so I guess they didn't lose any cards there. But they did have to use most of their turn to do that. So part of me thinks that was like valuable, but I understand. Okay, land is good. I could just hold up double counter, but I probably just want a Fairy Seer and set up. Ninja's good if I can actually get it going. I feel like the chances they have a Lava Dart or something is super high. I kind of feel like it's not what I need at the moment. I'll keep the Lorien for a land drop. So now we can counterspell here, draw Lorien, and then I have Hydro and counterspell next turn. And I kind of think I trade? I mean, I guess this is like control. This is me thinking of it as like a control deck, like I should block and like not take damage. But we just got rid of a Ninja. I don't know. I'm going to block. New to Pauper. Why is Jund Wildfire so low in population lately? Which top deck is keeping it down? I'm blanking. What top deck is keeping it down? I mean, Elves is pretty good against it. It being a 50% deck is keeping it down. Sure. It has a lot of, yeah, like it's a 50% deck. So it has a lot of okay matchups, but there's nothing that it's like amazing against. Or there's not that many decks. Some extended style if it often draws in the mirror. Yeah, it's also a slow deck, so it can draw in the mirror. It can draw in against Gardens. So usually Gardens or Pestilence can like outgrind it. Terror can sometimes go faster than it. I don't know. There's a few things like that. I've apparently taken a lot longer than I thought. But that 22 turn game was very long, so. Well, let's see what we can do here. Counterspell's good. I would love like a Lorien. Although if they have a Pyroblast, it doesn't do much, but like just some way to use our mana and draw some cards would be nice. Well, I did ask for it. I guess we'll go for it. If they Pyro, I'm just going to let it go, I think. I mean, it's really good to draw 3, but then if they have Gutter Snipe or something, we might just die. I kind of think we need to draw something, though. If they have another Pyro, so be it, but I don't know. We'll go for it after all. Counterback. Yeah, I talked myself into it. I felt like we need to draw something here. I'm just worried about these guys. Peppersmoke doesn't kill, unfortunately. That does, though. Yeah, I should just kill that. Kind of want a Lorien here, but probably should just try not to die. Relic is decent. Let's Lorien. That's really good. Do they have anything in the graveyard? Not at the moment. Keswick deals you 1 to 3 damage from 16 is all good. Yeah. Look, this is why you're the expert, Skura. I don't know. I mean, they have so many cards in hand that I guess I'm just very jaded towards, I won't backseat anymore. No, I don't mind the backseating at all. I'm just saying that, you know this deck a lot better than I am, or than I do. But that's okay. Highway Robbery, sure. So this is card neutral. Let's let it go. If they have a snacker, I can pop the Relic, or I can just Peppersmoke it. But then if they have a way to kill this, it's not great. So I think I just do this. We also only have a couple minutes, so I'm trying to play fast. Searing Blaze. I'd like to keep my guy alive and not take 3. And the Festivities. That doesn't feel worth countering. Maybe for my Peppersmoke plus my ability to draw a Ninja I should have, but most there. From you, it's not backseating. It's wisdom from on high. Exactly. It's free coaching. So, all right. What do we even need here? Ninja the Deep Powers. I think we're just going to cast that. I feel like it's more resilient than the Spell Stutter. Because if we play Spell Stutter, it could die to Lava Dart, but also we have 1 fewer counter to protect it. Whereas if now they like bolt this, I can try to Spell Stutter it. And then they Lava Dart that. I can Hydro, but then they can do it back. They didn't do that before. That's fine, I think. And then we try to counter the Lightning Bolts. I don't know. And they have a Fiery Temper? Sure. Also, that's why I love playing these decks. You give the same sequence of cards to 10 people, everybody will play something differently somehow. Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's a million lines you can take with these decks. Lots of choose your own adventure stuff. And some ways might be bad or some ways might be good, but in general, it's not. There are many ways you can do it that are not necessarily strictly better or worse than other ways. I agree. If they Lava Dart our Illusionist, do I just Peppersmoke it? I think so. This just cycles. Because I'll still control the Fairy before this is resolved, so like, I don't think I'm getting much use out of it anyway. Well, they just have they have so much burn, so many ways to kill our guys. I thought that was going to be fine because I could just get through their burn spells, but they have so many that feels very difficult right now. Fairy Seer Ninja, yeah, we'll keep those. Lava Dart. It's 2 Lava Darts in the grave. Ninja. This game also shows one of the concepts I've talked about a lot. You could start at 30 life against Madness and not much would change because it's not what the games are about. Yeah, I did not expect this to be how this matchup went. As someone who hasn't played a lot of this kind of Dimir version, or excuse me, the Dimir like tempo version. But yeah, it definitely seems like the life is not the most relevant thing. Yes, this is game 3. I guess I keep an Illusionist. I mean, I feel like we're gonna lose, both on time, but not necessarily even time, because they just have they have 2 more Lava Darts. Yeah, they just kill these things. Cast down the Epicure. That seems probably premature. Just flashback Lava Dart. I mean, I'm used to them doing this, like, if I'm playing Black Sack, they kind of go control mode, and that's definitely the best way for them to beat Black Sack, but but that's like the only deck that I've played where they do that, so I guess I was not anticipating as much here. They just have so many Lava Darts. Yeah, Robbery gets back a Snacker from before. There's a Gutter Snipe. And we'll kill that. They attack for 1 here. They'll probably flashback Lava Dart. I guess we'll kill this. We currently have a way to do anything. When timer gets like this, I turn on no possible play yield to save that precious 1 second. Yeah, that is probably wise. Obviously, if it's literally no possible play, then like there's no downside to that. But if I like draw it's a card that like I don't have a target for or something, and it just starts passing my turn, I'm like, oh, what's happening? But yeah, I don't like it normally because I have skipped combat by accident once. Yeah, that does sometimes happen. Flashback looting. I think the amount of dead draws is too high, like Peppersmoke 1/1 fixer. Thoughts on Mage Tower Referee? Give me a second. Oh, that's where all our creatures have been. I think it's a little too late. I had been sour on a new Boros Eidolons because it had no Vampire Hound, but I think this might be your other threat. Yeah, I think that's possible. Oh, like we are dead. Well, turn 27, by the way. I'm sure if I knew, like, those went long enough that if I knew how to play this matchup better, I think I probably could have gotten there. But new to this kind of a deck, so it's hard to know the perfect way to play it. Mage Tower Referee. Yeah, so I made a short for all of the different cards that I think could see some play in various decks. I think this set is mostly a set for like fringe decks. There's not that many cards that are very good for like meta decks. But I think Mage Tower Referee could be good in a couple decks. Yes, like Boros Eidolons could be there. You could play it with... so I have a short that's going to go up in a few days, but you could also do like Burning Emissary, Manamorphose, Wild Canter, and kind of like Storm off after you play it so that it gets really, really big really quickly. That could be kind of interesting. Overall, I don't think it's great. It's a 2-mana 2/1 with no abilities. No evasion or protection or anything. But in the right deck, I could see it being like an okay player. I guess it's not pulling up the card because it's new. Mage Tower Referee is a 2-mana artifact creature construct. That's a 2/1 that says whenever you cast a multicolored spell, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So, in the right deck, if you're able to cast a bunch of multicolored spells right away, it can grow really big, but unfortunately, it does die to Lava Dart and a million other things right away. Even if you've cast a couple spells, it dies to Lightning Bolt. Leaves behind no value, it has no protection, has no evasion, so I don't think it's going to make any impact on the meta, but I think it could definitely be a fringe payoff for some of those decks that I think could be pretty cool. This hand is not great. If one of these was a fairy, I'd be pretty happy about it. We're going to give it a try. It's probably not a keep, but I'm currently not seeing why I should run Elite Interceptor over Inspector. I don't think you should, personally. I don't think it's as good as the Inspectors. A lot of people are talking about it, and it's not a bad card. There's definitely some applications for it, but I think that a lot of the decks that play Inspector want to have a body that they can bounce with like a core Skyfisher right away. So you can do turn 1 Inspector, turn 2 Skyfisher, and with the Interceptor you waste that clue essentially. And so so that's one reason why it's not as good. There's a lot of decks that care about the affinity count for refurbs, so that doesn't help there. So I think it's generally worse. But that said, being able to tap down a blocker is super relevant. Yeah, but I don't know. On the whole, I don't think it's great, and truthfully, I don't think it's gonna I don't think it's gonna be a staple. But I know some people have said that and think it might be, and it could be. But like to me, it doesn't seem like it's better than Inspector or in any meaningful way. But I could certainly be wrong, and probably am. All right, they killed that. I could hold up a counter spell for what? I think I'm just playing another hacker. Not loving if it gets snuffed out, but I have a snuff out for their first guy, first terror that is. Oh, they counter spell. I mean, that's not great either, but what are you going to do? Can't even use its prepared ability, instant speed. Yeah, it would maybe be too good if you could do that, because, like, it'd be really good, but I agree. Like, it would make it better. Could try 12 1-drops and run both. That is also true. I don't know of a deck that would want to run 12 of that. Like, White Weenie loves to run 8 copies of Inspector, but I just don't know if they would want 4 additional copies of like a worse version. Okay, that can maybe get our ninja going. They went straight to combat. I think that might have been a mistake, but we'll try to save 2 life here. So many 1/2s. Yeah, that is true. But like it's already like White Weenie already has so many 1-drops that I don't think it really wants more. And Lunarch Veteran I think is way too good in the deck for you to want to cut those. So like maybe you could, put 1 or 2 as like flex slots, but I don't know. For mono white, the affinity count doesn't matter. That's true. Chrysalis is a big problem for the deck. I counter back here. Being able to tap it and swing all in is quite good. You might not play 4, but I think a split is likely. So you're right, the affinity count doesn't matter for mono white, but that was just one of the things that I mentioned. I think the big thing is that on turn 1, my favorite way to start the game generally is turn 1 Inspector, turn 2 core Skyfisher, bounce the Inspector. I guess Ravine's Informant, get a 3 powers is better, but like a lot of times you're going to be doing Inspector into Skyfisher, and if you do that with the Interceptor, you just don't get any value. Like Lunarch Veteran into core Skyfisher is just so much worse, and that's basically what you'd be doing because you wouldn't have that ability to draw, to draw later with the clue. But you're right, tapping something is relevant. I will say, like, Chrysalis is a big problem for the deck. It's somewhat of a problem for the deck. I feel like you have enough Thraben Charms and sometimes Journey to Nowheres to get rid of it. And also you just often will go around it with enough bigger creatures. But yeah, certainly having another way to, like, get through that is good. I'm just not sure it's worth the trade-off, because there are so many games where I play like 4 Inspectors and have like 4 or 5 clues before I've even cracked one of them. And usually that's because I've had 2 Inspectors that I've bounced over and over and over, not just with core Skyfisher, but now with Leonardo. If you're playing Spider-Man with that guy, there's so many ways to bounce him at this point that now you have to bounce with your you have to wait to use the Interceptor's ability, or you're just wasting value. So I don't know. It's certainly worth trying. For all I know, it could be a lot better than I think. I'm certainly open to that, but it would change the play patterns of the deck, which doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but like if something has been working for a long time, changing it's not necessarily always the best thing to do. So I don't know. Well, that went pretty well. Our ninja didn't die. I say it right before it gets snuffed out probably, but Brine Barrow survived, so like I could get another ninja here. Okay, they have something. There it is. They have 3 cards in hand. Clearly no creatures. I could counterspell, but they could counter back. And to be honest, I'd rather just ninja this guy. So I think we'll just do that. Trying to draw Faeries for our Peppersmokes and also lands for our spells. Moonstruck Hacker. Alright, we'll pass. Maybe bounce an Inspector using Leonardo. Then untap Leonardo with Interceptor to block. Yeah, I mean, the ability to untap something and be able to block with it is not irrelevant, but generally blocking is not your biggest issue in White Weenie. Like, you already have a lot of blockers, and you're generally more on the aggressive side, so they're usually on the defense. But hard cast to snuff out. Sure. I mean, I can't do anything about it. But we get to Brine Barrow. They're going to leave this back now. But I get to Brine Barrow, then I can Peppersmoke and Ninja. So if I get like a Faeries here, then I get to draw off the Peppersmoke. That'd be great. Faeries. I could spell Stutter then Peppersmoke, but then I don't get the Ninja, so that seems worse. Let's just make sure I'm not like throwing big time by like just going all in on the Ninja. I'd love to hold up a counterspell. We just don't have the mana for it. Yeah, I think we're doing this. Attacking with Snacker there was mental. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're much lower. We have ninjas. And they knew we had a Brine Barrow. I don't know what they were thinking. They knew we had the Peppersmoke, so they wanted to play around that, I'm sure. I guess we will do this. Hopefully draw an untapped land so I can hold up a counterspell. There we go. We'll pass. Suppose it can give you an extra body to flashback Battle Screech. That is true. That's kind of cool. Play it, untap another thing that attacked. It's a lot of mana to do that, but it's not terrible. I think we're not going to spell stutter that. When Tarkir came out, I tested the Mardu Devotee. While the red splash doesn't turn out that great for the deck, I felt like having some number of Devotee over Inspector would be fine. It's really good for being picked up early and not amassing a million clues. Without the mana to sack all of them, a free Scry 2 in the early game helps a lot at setting up your early draws. Ponder again. I declined to use this. Like, I kind of want to counter just because we get some value. I put a guy on board that gives us lethal power, because if I just if they end up slamming a terror and then I counterspell it, we don't actually have the lethal damage, plus we already have a snuff out for their guy. I don't know. It might not be right, but I'm going to just go for it. So I agree. I also tested a lot of Mardu Devotee, and I did like the Scry 2, but there's a very real trade-off, I think. So I think, I don't know. I think of White Weenie a lot more as like a mid-range deck because there's so much card advantage and slow stuff to accrue. So I don't mind waiting forever and then eventually drawing my cards with my clues on turn 8 or whatever. But yeah, the Scry can like set up your early draws, can make it easier in the early turns in exchange for late game value. And so yeah, I don't know. I think that is a fine exchange, but I'm not sure the Interceptor really does that anyway, though. Because, like, the Devotee, you're right, gives you, like, something else for free, whereas the Interceptor is still paying a cost for about the same. All right, I could play a Thorn, not only because it gives us the Monarch, but also because it is a lethal attacker. And I have Brine Barrow, so I have 3 lethal attackers. They have to kill everything. But I'm not holding up Counterspell. But then I just have Snuff Out for a creature, plus a Peppersmoke for this creature. I think that might be fine. So I'll discard a Snuff Out. If they counter this, that's also fine. I can live with it. Brainstorm. I mean, if they're able to land, like, 3 terrors here, that'd be bad. I guess even just 2. No, I could Peppersmoke, Snuff Out, plus Brine Barrow 2 would probably be fine. See if they want to attack with their Snacker. No, that's crazy. Alright, we'll flash this guy in because it's a lethal attacker. Alright, well, I can Peppersmoke this guy. I have 2 counter spells for whatever they could have. 2 lethal attackers, I think this should be good enough. They might have like Spell Pierce. Okay. I'll just pay for that because I could counter it, but it would cost just as much. If they have another Spell Pierce, now they have a Suffocating Fumes. Okay. I'm going to counter this and they're going to have a counter spell. And they're going to get me because of the Spell Pierce. Why would they not just Spell Pierce after, though? That'd be weird. Maybe that's all they had. Okay. We got there. Graveyard stuff. And that's it. Peppersmoke is decent, but it's only good against the Snackers, really. Which they have 4 of, so I think we could probably cut maybe just one of those in like the Illusionist. We'll try that. I don't think this one's a keep. It's close. It's about 2 lands off. Yeah, we'll give this one a try. Okay, Island is a good draw because maybe we hit like a Moonstruck Hacker here. Ninja, which is really good. I think we got to keep, but unfortunately, because it's a big ninja, we actually can't do it next turn because everything else is tapped. So we might as well just put the island on the bottom, ninja on top, I think. If this gets snuff out, then our ninja's bad, but that's just kind of how that works in this matchup. We'll swing for 1 here. They have a sneaky snacker. It's going to make ninjaing much more difficult. Cycle that for an island. Cast down. Oh, we're just going to pass here. I guess I could cast this down on the end step, try to ninja next turn maybe. It's an option. Ponder. No attacks. I mean, they probably have a counter spell, or they just snuff out our seer, so it's not very good. But if that eats a counter spell, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, we'll just pass. They're going to pass. Bit of a stalemate here. Cast down on the seer. So I counter, they probably counter back, which fuels their terrors, which is bad. But protecting this maybe gets us a ninja, but not, because then they just hold the snacker back. I think it's fine, and I'd probably just hardcast a ninja this next turn, holding up counterspell. Snuff out not killing snackers, definitely being real annoying in this matchup. Murmuring Mystic. Yeah, I'm gonna counter. I feel like they might have a Spell Pierce, but then at least we can snuff it out without having them get a bird. Lorien revealed. Okay, I was gonna, if I had nothing, I would like pay 4 mana to snuff this out, but obviously now we're gonna Lorien revealed while they're tapped out. Snuff out the Mystic. I could attack and Brine Barrow. Yeah, that means the snacker will come back tapped. Then we play a Pixie Illusionist, and we hope they don't have like an Arms of Adar, I guess. And that was a good turn. But there's the Arms of Adar that I said I was hoping they wouldn't have, and they had it anyway, which is very rude. Not sure why they would do that after I specifically asked them not to. Technically, we can kick a Pixie Illusionist with another Pixie Illusionist, but every single time we get one down and then draw another, the first one's already been killed. So maybe if we'd held that one, we could have played it and then been okay. But Marsh, any chance of a Black Green Gardens video this week? Not this week. I already have all of the videos planned for this week, and there's not one in there. But it is a deck that I am gonna try to get back to at some point. So I would say 1 to 2 weeks, you can probably expect another video of that. There's a lot of decks that I like and a lot of other people like, so I understand sometimes there's a lot of time in between, but there's so many decks to play, you know? I'm realizing I have not seen a terror from them at all in either game, so now I'm not even confident they're playing them. Time to put a Simic Tapland to grab with Lorien. Yeah, that was a consideration. It's just going to be so bad when we have it in an opening hand, just because, oh, it could be an island, which would be so much better in the early games, and then, like, just for this to be minorly relevant. Obviously here it would be pretty good if it was a 3-3 versus a snacker, but Fangs. Yep, perfect, thank you. A comprehensive guide would be amazing, too. I think there are a couple people who have already written guides for gardens. Maybe I'm wrong. I know, there we go, maybe. I guess I have a sheet that has all of the Pauper guides, well, not all of them, but all the ones that I've found of various people who have written guides for different decks. I guess when I was looking for the gardens one, I think Nyx is a player who had one from a couple years ago that's probably a little outdated, but probably still mostly the same, and I think they've been looking to update it. So for gardens, there are probably a couple other players that I would look to before looking to me to make a guide for that, that I think has made it. Surely True Name after Geddon top 8. True Name has a guide for the Food Pestilence version. I don't think they have a guide for just the regular gardens. I guess they could do that. They could have that too, but not that I'm aware of. But definitely if you're saying Food Pest, True Name has one. But yeah, I don't necessarily have as much time to dedicate to all the various guides as a lot of other players, especially because I play so many different decks that I try to focus on writing guides for decks that don't have one. So if somebody else has already written a guide for a deck, I'm probably not going to write a guide for that because they probably are a lot more knowledgeable about that deck. So certainly Black Sack and Esper Affinity that I played a ton, and of course they have another one of those that I play a ton and just have a lot of experience with, and have been one of the main people playing that deck. It's been easier for me to write those guides, but then like White Weenie, I expected somebody had probably written a guide for that, and then there's some primers and free primers and stuff like that online that aren't bad, but I looked around and could not find anybody who'd actually written a comprehensive guide for White Weenie, which is why I did it. But yeah, I'm usually going to be trying to stick to the decks that don't have anybody else writing a guide for them. They do play Terror. That's crazy. We can't really afford to hardcast Snuff Out, so I'm going to pay 4 and then pay 2, knowing that this will probably get Spell Pierced here. Oh, they're just going to counterspell it. Don't even want me to pay the ward, which is fine, because not really relevant. We will Moon Circuit back the Fairy Seer, draw a card here. Relic is a million turns too late. I mean, my best bet to win might be play and crack Relic, play Thorn. Thorn blocks Terror, Seer chumps Snacker. If they have any removal, we're going to die, but that's going to be the case pretty much no matter what. Gives us the Monarch, gives us an extra blocker. Snuff Out in this case isn't going to kill a Snacker, so it's going to be bad. So I'm going to put that on bottom, and yeah, we're gonna go for that. But they need to have no removal spells. I guess that's mostly it. I mean, if they have removal for Thorn, I guess I can still chump the Terror, but they get in for 3, they get the Monarch, and we don't kill the Terror, notably. Second Relic. I don't know. If they have nothing here, it could be okay. Lorien. See if they find a Snuff Out. They do. Okay. I mean, that wasn't the worst. We're at 2. We have to find a way to kill the Snacker, otherwise we die. We have 3 draws for that. And if we do, we get to keep the Monarch. And yeah, we could be okay. That's 1. Draw. Relic. Anything we could draw at sorcery speed. We could just draw a blocker. Yeah, I should. I was going to wait to draw for the Monarch to see if we get a cast down, then I could keep the Relic, but I could just get a creature. That technically keeps us alive, but I would love a cast down. Okay. I mean, the spell stutter has to resolve and to be able to block, but we have a counter spell to back it up. Yep. Hope they have nothing else. Thought Scour. Us. Interesting. Okay, that worked. Go to blocks. Oh my gosh, we're alive. And then we get to Peppersmoke this, so they trade, and I draw a card, which is why I'm doing it before damage is dealt. Or they have a counterspell for this, but they have another Fangs. That's annoying. Draw us another Peppersmoke. It'd be so good. Oh, no. Oh, it'd be incredible if we drew another one. Or even a cast down at that point. All right, Lorien's still pretty good. We should Fairy Seer first. Get rid of any lands. Those are both good, I think. Yeah, I guess after we cast this down, maybe the Brine Bearer isn't that necessary. Whatever. Another Peppersmoke. We're going to do this now. Ugh, we're tapped low enough they could Spell Pierce. That'd be really annoying. Okay, they didn't have it. Nice. We're still alive somehow. Loot with the Hacker. Ooh. I feel like the Peppersmoke might actually be decent here because it can get rid of the Snacker. So I don't really want to get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of the Hacker. I guess it's the Brine Barrow. Because if we have a Peppersmoke for the Snacker, we probably don't need a Brine Barrow anyway. Would have preferred to discard that, but obviously that was not a choice. What do they got? Deep Analysis. I played the Ice Tunnel. Snacker's back. Okay. Alright, I'm going to Peppersmoke this. You've had insane games today. I agree. They've been pretty crazy. I'm going to Peppersmoke this now in our blockers phase. So if they want to kill our fairy to make sure we didn't draw, I could Hacker this away. But that didn't happen. I have enough mana. I probably just want to go for the double Hacker here to draw 2. We also have enough lands. We probably don't need to... like, discarding is probably not that bad, but I don't think there's a reason we need to. Yeah, these games have been crazy. Counterspell's good. Oh my gosh. Are we going to win this game? That would be outrageous. I was going to say, oh my gosh, we can get the Monarch. Yeah, kind of. We already have that. Fairy Seer. Looking for more counterspells. Yes, please. Yeah, I'm going to do this. First of all, I'm going to assume / hope they don't have... Yeah, that's good. They don't have a third Arms of Adar, because we've already gotten that twice. But also, we have a counterspell for the arms, and then this makes Spell Stutter more reliable for a backup counterspell, so I think this is good. Yeah, I mean, it's been 2 hours already, and we're only almost through round 3. Usually I'd be like done with the league by now, but this has been some crazy matches. They're flashing back Deep Analysis. That gets back the Snacker, but I have a cast down on top. I think that's fine. Down to 16 cards in deck? Yeah, I appreciate the heads up. Luckily, the Hacker's a May, so we don't have to draw if we don't want to. I probably still will for the next couple turns, but we do have the Monarch, so yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of. Brainstorm, I think that's fine. I mean, they're probably just trying to fill their graveyard so they can get some terrors, so I'm not sure they actually care about the draw that much. We have seen 2 Arms of Hadar, like I was saying, but we actually haven't seen a Suffocating Fumes, which they probably also have, so that's something to watch out for. Thought Scour us. I mean, we could mill out. Do I want to counter this? This is going to be their 6th spell, though. Oh, we got rid of our cast down. Yeah, maybe knowing that we had the cast down, maybe that was bad. I figured now they'll probably cast like a terror, and I can counterspell it, and if they have a counterspell, I would like to have... Okay, or they just have the fumes. This should counter. If they have a snuff out, I can counterspell. If they have 2 snuff outs, they get to resolve it, and I'll lose probably. We're hoping that's not the case. There's a Snuff Out, which we're going to counter. All right, just the one. We have 7 damage on board, so that's not lethal. Brine Bear is really good for the Snacker, so we're not attacking with everything. Brine Barrow means if they need a counter spell plus like a kill spell. Part of me thinks I should just be overly cautious and not even attack with this one because I don't probably need to. We are still going to draw here. There's a lot of... That's fantastic. I'm actually just going to use that now while they can't counter it. Snuff Out's decent. We still have 11 cards. I think if we don't win in 5 turns, we're not going to win, so that's fine. Thorn has Death Touch, which is kind of good, but I think Flash and Ninjas are probably better, plus Snuff Out. Yeah, we'll just do this. Pass. We got a Lorien. Like, I'm not expecting them to have any more board wipes, because we've already seen 2 arms and a Suffocating Fumes. If they do, you know, that's rough, but didn't draw a counterspell, so can't do much about it. There is a Terror. Blocks here. They're still taking lethal. Attachments. Discarding a Bog. So I'd probably Snuff Out the Terror at the end step. The main thing I'm concerned about right now is a potential Unexpected Fangs, although they already used 2 of those. Yeah, I don't think they're going to have more of those either, so I probably don't need to worry about that. It is still something to think about, but yeah, I think we try to snuff this out. See if they have anything. No, so they need a kill spell. We won the match. Okay. That was crazy. So if they have 2 kill spells, I think I was probably going to flash in the Brine Bearer, because that means with 4 1-power creatures, one of which I can turn into a ninja, I can kill them even through 2 cast downs. So, yeah, that would have been good. That was a good game. That was a great game. It was crazy. I'm glad we came out on top on that one. The Mono Red Madness one felt very similar, but also much worse. But, yeah, that felt good. Well, if these take just as long, we'll see if I even get to a second league today, because I was planning, I've been making some modifications to Esper Affinity and have a new list I wanted to try out, but we'll have to see if I even get there. Alright, is this a keep? Probably not, because we don't do anything proactive, which seems bad, and if we don't hit land drops, we're just stuck on 2, but... Giga Clunker, but Skura, I don't think you're seeing, we have 3 counterspells. Not proactive, no land drops. I know I said all of that, but have you considered how many counterspells we have in hand? Insta-keep, see? Oh yeah, this one's way better, am I right? That is true. You're about to draw the 4th, yeah, exactly. See, now we have to keep this hand, and it doesn't have any counterspells. And we have to get rid of 2 cards. Just because we have creatures, that makes it better? I guess I get rid of Thorn Lorien here. This 5 just has lands, 1-drop ninja. Yeah, I know, on the play. What a terrible hand. Ugh, disgusting. Keep Thorn. If we keep Thorn, well, we're getting rid of 2 lands. I don't think that is right. Then we're never getting to our Thorn. Glimmerbairn. Well, I'm flashing this out because if I get a Snuff Out, I can kill this, but otherwise we're not getting through. Maybe they won't block. Dang. They saw right through us. I mean, I could play a hacker, but they play a token, and then I can't get through, and that's just kind of a waste, so I think I probably don't do that. 1-2, meet 1-2. Yeah. What an outrageous format this is. More toughness than the mana we paid for our creature? That's crazy. Oh, how do we beat this? That would have been nice last turn. Well, I didn't have the black mana for it, but I could attack, block, I Peppersmoke, they sack this, and everything goes badly. Opponent has the technology. Yeah, they are cruising. I simply don't know how we win. Many partings. Another matchup where I feel like I'm not going to be able to Peppersmoke anything without them sacking it beforehand. Okay, they're Gruul tokens. Gingerbread Cabin with Colony Gardens and Mountains seems crazy, but I understand it makes tokens. Alright, we're hitting our land drops. I mean, Thorn would look good here, but we had no way to know this was how this was going to play out. And it would only have looked good if we got rid of our hacker, which I don't think we were ever doing. Cycle a Generous Ent. Okay. Really trying to hit those land drops. I mean, Peppersmoke could be good if they play... Well, they're going to play a Chrysalis here, and I'm going to cry. If they play whatever the 1/1 is that grows every time they play a creature. I could kill a Spawn. I don't think that's very good. Well, I was mostly joking about them, but I do feel like we're going to lose now, based on our poor draws and what they have. I mean, if we get some snuff outs and stuff, maybe we'll be okay. Well, that lets our Peppersmoke cycle. Those 3 counterspells would have come in handy. They certainly could have. Now, we wouldn't have been able to counterspell probably either of these guys, but we could have cast them down, and then we could have countered this. I have another one. Outrageous. Particularly on a mulligan, I try to keep a Thorn because there's some deck that are destroyed by it on turn 4 and as a way to regain advantage after them all. I mean, I understand that, but if we were keeping the Thorn, we would have only kept 2 lands, Brine Barrow, Moonstruck Hacker. So I think the chances we get the turn 4 Thorn if we're only on 2 lands is really low. So I feel like I'd rather just have lands to make sure we can play whatever else we drew, hopefully off the Hacker, which obviously did not work. I think we just die now, though. Gonna Peppersmoke this so we can maybe draw a Snuff Out. It was 2 lands for sure. Yeah. So, like, if we had a creature we could have gotten rid of, maybe, but we needed both of these. Or, yeah, if there was something else. I mean, because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this becomes 13. I mean, this is just playing against Black Sack now. This is 13, and this is their Beetle, which grows 4. So that's 5. So that's 18. But if I block... So I have to block both of these to survive, and then they just eat them both, and I lose the game. But some draws with Hacker couldn't know opponent was on OP Glimmer Baron. Yes, that is true. Well, they didn't do their math, or they thought it was too risky because they could have had a Snuff Out, but they did not go for it there. Fairy Seers. More Peppersmoke. Those to the bottom. Fairy Seer. There's a Cast Down, which we block. I mean, we're dead. Let's just... This league's already taken quite a while. I'm 100% confident we're dead. Let's not waste any time. Arms of Vidar. Obviously, it's not going to kill their big guys, but if I could just wipe out all the spawn they had, and then their Glimmer Baron has to sack all the stuff on their turn, it's like, okay. Peppersmoke looked pretty bad here. Maybe just Aqueduct to make sure stuff's a little better. I don't know. If this was untapped, I could play a Fairy Seer right away, as is. I think it's too slow. I mean, Snuff Out helps against their deck specifically. They're probably not going to have a lot of removal, maybe some Lightning Bolts. But Ninja's also only going to get in probably once. I think we'll go to another 7-spell hand. Down to 5 again. Alright, this is an okay 5. Although, I mean, I guess we have the Spell Stutter. If the Brine Barrow into Hacker doesn't work, we have Spell Stutter. In fact, maybe I just don't care about the Brine Barrow knowing that they have so many spawn and stuff. Maybe I just do this and I go for the turn 3 Hacker. I think that might be better, actually. Maybe crazy because we could get the turn 2 Hacker, but we also probably will not if they have anything they had before. I'm going to cycle this for an island. We might want the black. Fairy Seer is good. I think we want to hold up Spell Stutter, but if they play a 2-drop, it's a little awkward. But, you know, we know they have Glimmer Barons. They might have the Cloakwood Swarmkeeper. That's what it is. Oh, Ice Cream Giddy. Sack a creature or food for 2 mana, draw a card as a sorcery. Well, that's pretty good. Well, they know we'll have it, but we'll get to Hacker just once because this is a 1/3. Draw a card. Island. We'll pass. Try to make it so they can't get a 1-drop down anymore. Next turn I can Fairy Seer and Sprite will be catching 2-drops. Ram through. Well, I feel like that guy probably wasn't getting through anyway, so that's kind of fine. Snuff Out. Ninja and a Moonstruck Hacker. I think we got the flyers. But if they land a Chrysalis, we don't have a kill spell. Or rather, we don't have black mana for the kill spell. I think for that reason, I'm going to keep only 1 Ninja. Because if they don't have Chrysalis, it's pretty good. If they do, we can still maybe Ninja later as soon as we get a Swamp for the Snuff Out. But yeah, many partings. I think I'm just going to let that go. I could Spell Stutter it, but now that Spell Stutter can catch a 2-drop, I feel like I could get something a lot more relevant. Rancor on this guy. I feel like that's also just bait. They know we have the Spell Stutter. I feel like I don't really care about this being a 3/3, as opposed to, like, if the Rancor was on something else, maybe, but I don't know. If I do that and they have, like, a Cast in the Fire, kill both our guys, it's, like, just pretty bad. They didn't have the Chrysalis, which means we get to... Well, they might have the Chrysalis and just didn't have the mana because they had many partings, but... We get to Ninja. That's the important part. Alright, Island lets us replay Fairy Seer, although I do want a black source. Well, we're going to keep the Lorien. I might want to be greedy enough and just, like, hardcast that, but we'll see where we're at. If they play Crystals here, then I probably would just, like, Cycle Lorien. I don't know. There's a Rumble. See, that's a good one to counter. I just feel like they have a Cast in the Fire or a Bolt or something. Maybe at some point I should just do it, but Hooting Mandrills or one of these others, but they probably take the Hooting because they can't get Spell Stuttered very easily. They cast that. Swing for 3. So I probably do just cycle this for a black source, because then we get to snuff out the Mandrills now. Well, we go down to 9, but This is going to hit us down to 9 anyway. We want to get in with the ninja, at least force him to sack the spawn. Then it opens us up to a cast down next turn. Pass. There's Chrysalis. They hit for 3. Yeah, we're at 6. I mean, I could cast down the Chrysalis and keep attacking, but we are slowly dying to this kitty. They have a Pulsamross or something. 3. No, they have another Mandrills. Yeah, that's bad. Now we draw Counterspell. They're almost out of cards, but this is going to change that. This is the one with Trample, though, so I could cast this down. No, this also has Trample. Could cast this down, and then, like, if they go for Rancor on this, I can Spell Stutter with a Counterspell backup. Trying to figure... Obviously, I could cast down the Chrysalis, but, like, Ninja can't get in anyway, so that doesn't really matter. The only reason to cast this down now would probably be then they can't sack their food and their spawn to draw cards, which is pretty relevant. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I do this. I can counter the Rancor, jump the Chrysalis, and hope to draw another cast down for the Mandrills. They're saying this deck feels somewhat like Black Sack in some ways, and I was saying that that's how I felt about it in game 1. Yeah, let me just block here, I guess. Although I've still been putting them on like a removal spell or maybe like another ram through this entire time. So now if they Rancor, they could kill it. But I have the counter spell, but they can also just pass here. And we do get the cast down. That's good. So I can cast down the Mandrills. I can attack with the Ninja. Then I have to flash and Spell Stutter to block. We still have a counter spell backup. Yeah. Cast down these guys. Gonna do it now in case they draw like a Vines of Vastwood or something. Yeah, they're just going to pass so that I have to block here. I have another Chris. I mean, I think I got to counter that. I know they have a Rancor, which can just make this pretty much lethal, but if that's all they have, hopefully I draw a kill spell. It's pretty much my only option. Oh, they put it on a spawn. That's actually pretty smart. We draw an Arms of Adar, which we have to use because we're dead to these. Well, it's not... actually, we might have a shot because it gives them back the Rancor, which means that the Chrysalis is going to trample over the Ninja. So that's bad. But it lets us attack in with the Ninja. So if I draw... No, because then they still trample, and I can't draw Snuff Out. Never mind. I was going to say if I draw like a Faeries or whatever to block. That's not going to matter, though. It's very difficult to play a deck that you're not very familiar with against a deck that you're not very familiar with and do well with it. So, yeah, we're probably going to lose. And that's probably not too surprising. It was an island. We died, unfortunately. All right, last round here. And... been a little while, but we actually have the Fairy Seer into Ninja on turn 2. Not Fairy Seer, just a Fairy. So that could be pretty good until it gets Lava Darted. Maybe. Okay, just bolted. At least it's a full card. Definitely feeling the meta's a little hostile towards Fairies. New tech for the Pixie Illusionist? Yes, it is. Something we're trying out. Fairy Seer. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna Robbery, and we're probably not gonna want to counter that. Another Ninja I think is too many, and I don't want to Snuff Out. So, I don't love tapping out a Counterspell here, but what are you going to do? Flame Breather, and then a Robbery. Fiery Temper, which is probably going to kill our Fairy Seer. Now it goes to face. Okay, well that's something anyway. Snuff Out. I got rid of that for a reason, but it does let us Moonstruck Hacker and hold up Counterspell at the cost of 4 life, which is basically giving them a free Fire Blast, which is pretty bad. It's either that or I cast this down, though, and then I'm tapped out. And that seems worse, so I think we're going to do it. When I was playing Snuff Out in Black Sack, I was always happy to do that, because at least I didn't have to deal with their creature, but then I was racing them and much faster, and this is quite a bit slower here. I kind of just want to cast that down. We might take too much damage. Faithless Looting. I think we'll just cast down, because now what are they going to cast off of this? Maybe a Fiery Temper? I don't know. I mean, if they got double Fire Blast in response, you know, we're dead. And they probably will, because the first Fire Blast is always free. They always have the first one. There's one. They thought pretty hard about it, so they might not have the second. That would be my assumption. Yeah, but we are down to 5. Fire Blast or Fiery Temper. Every single one of their cards is the same words, you know? Alright, we're gonna hope to draw an island and have double Counterspell. No. I guess I'll just Fairy Seer then. Peppersmoke, Lorien. I don't even know what we need. We're dead to like everything, so I guess just more Counterspells. Grab the prize. Discarding a Fiery Temper. I can counter one of them, but they both kill me, so... that's pretty unfortunate. Alright, we get to take out, well, let's see. I will say last time I took out the Thorns, and then when they knew what they were doing, they just kept killing our stuff. It almost felt like I wanted a Thorn, so maybe I should keep those in now. Maybe illusionists aren't as important. Peppersmoke. So many things are 1 toughness. Lava Dart is brutal. Alright, let's see what we can do here. This has an envelop, some removal. Hacker's not great, but I think it's fine. Maybe no 1-drop or just fairy at all. We should ship it. But it feels like with them having so much removal, just 1 random fairy isn't that important. Relic is good. That helps. Plot a robbery. I think we're just going to pass. I could play Hacker. Not only does it die to everything, but then I only have 1 mana for either Envelop or Relic, and I kind of want to have both. Flame Breather. Okay, well that also just lets me cast that down. Not doing anything else. Okay, well we'll just kill it. Sure. Take their bolt. Alright, here I'll Hacker. I can still hold up Envelop and Relic. Yeah, it probably just dies to a Lava Dart, but if it does, then Lava Dart's in the grave, where maybe I just get it to exile the second half, which is a little bit extra value. Another Hacker. Don't really want to play that while they have the Lava Dart. Oh, I could probably just tap this. I was going to say I don't want to crack this for just this, but this at least forces them to use it, or... Okay, perfect. Now if they have another Lava Dart, so be it. But I forgot that they had nothing else in their graveyard, so that was nice. Lava Dart hurts so much because it's half of a card, right? But with the Relic, we made it so they basically just used a whole card to kill this, which is not that different from casting like a Lightning Bolt or whatever. So I think it was fine. Finally play the Robbery, discarding a Mountain. They'd saved that for a while. Epicure, I can Peppersmoke that. Would love to get a Fairy first. Now they're going to grab the prize. That I'm going to Envelop. Going at the face. They have the Pyroblast. That's pretty annoying. 2 cards left. I think I gotta keep the Relic. I kind of want to use it. Ugh. Okay, Lorien's good, but we pretty much are tapping out for it. Okay. I could Peppersmoke this and then attack in, but now that we have Hydroblast plus Brine Barrow, I think we just wait. If they attack with the Epicure, I'd probably just take it. Not that I want to take a damage, but discard a Mountain to a Blood. That's a good sign for them starting off with that. Kessig Flame Breather. I think we'll just counter that. They could get a Grab the Prize or something off, but I don't have another way to kill it, so I'm going to be using that anyway. There's a Grab the Prize. Discarding a Mountain, though, so that's not any value they got. They just cycled through a couple cards. That's pretty good. So if I Peppersmoke this, I don't get a card unless I Sprite it first. I could just attack on Brine Barrow. That's probably what to do. Then if they don't play something else that I can Peppersmoke, it's maybe just running in my hand, but I can also ping our own Intruder or whatever to like get the card once we have our Spell Stutter down. Spell Stutter, I will cast on the Epicure. Faithless Looting is fine, I think. Fiery Temper. We go to 7. That's fine. I'm gonna cycle this Peppersmoke. If they want to like Lava Dart or bolt it, then that's whatever. They bolt the Sprite. Then I won't draw a card. I was like, I don't really mind that, but I don't draw the card from this. They have no cards, and I'm about to pop this Relic so they don't have a Faithless. Yeah, I guess I'll counter that. With the Relic, we get to see 3 new cards for our next turn. Hacker's really good. Envelop is really good. Nice. Yeah, we'll swing with the team. I'm going to use the Aqueduct here to pop the Relic and then also do the Hacker. 1, 2... Yeah, I'm just picking up the Sprite. I could do both Hackers, but then I can't hold up Sprite and Envelop, which could be relevant because Envelop doesn't hit. They both have blind spots, basically. We'll draw, but we drew a Hydroblast. Ninja. Now we're in a very good spot. We have a Fiery Temper. Do I even care? That's fine. I think I will flash in a Spell Stutter just to get some more damage going. Picking it up with the Ninja, because then we can do... I think this is a 2-turn clock, because yeah, we're hitting for 7. Next turn we can hit for 8. Draw and discard, draw and discard. I guess we don't really need a Lorien. Play a Relic, and we have triple counterspell. We will Envelop this Robbery. Alright, we got a game. That's good. Didn't even need the Thorns, we just drew decently. See if we can take it home. I mean, it's not very proactive, but I think 2 early counterspells is probably worthwhile. So we'll play that and pass. I'm just gonna counter the Flame Breather. Island, pass. Grab the prize. Discarding Fiery Temper, we're gonna counter the Grab the Prize. But you should always let the Fiery Temper them actually pay for the madness, because if I just cast it there, they hadn't paid for it yet, and they could have Red Blasted the counterspell. So you want to make sure they've actually paid for the Fiery Temper. That's pretty good. They're on 3 cards. Yeah, I guess Illusionist is good enough that I think we'll just play that. We can still use our mana by cycling the Lorien, and then this way we can maybe get a Hacker down for cheaper and actually drawing a card. They have another Grab the Prize. I wish I had an Envelop or a Hydroblast again here. Obviously we don't, though. And an Epicure. Cycle this for an island. Brine Barrow. I think we'll just swing, go for a Hacker. Counterspell is great, so we'll just play the Illusionist again, but I can hold up Counterspell. I could cast down. I could Brine Barrow the Epicure, but Faithless Looting. I think I'm going to let that go. If they like double Fiery Temper, it's pretty bad, but they've already used 2. So otherwise they're discarding like Snackers, which I can hopefully keep off the field by counterspelling the next draw. There's a Snacker and a Mountain, so. And they obviously dig 2 cards deeper. There are definitely times where I counterspell the Faithless, but not always. I think that's fine. This actually means they're going to attack with the Epicure, and I get to just eat it with the Brine Barrow. And even if they have like a... Oh, they don't attack. They expected a Brine Barrow? No, I guess they wanted a blocker for this. They just didn't want another ninja coming down? Okay. Well, I don't really want to cast that down, so I guess it's fine. A little annoying. I obviously would have preferred them just attack there, but I guess Brine Barrow here, they just Lava Dart the Moon Circuit Hacker, so I would have to counterspell, which I don't want to. Oh, they don't even do that. Okay, that's good. Here, I'm going to counterspell, because it lets them get back a Snacker, which I don't want. And I'm not that worried about them resolving anything else. Like, Lava Dart, that's fine. But if they have, like, land, then they can't play a draw 2. Well, they could if they're it's a robbery and they sack a land, but they don't have a lot of other things to do here. Well, I think we're just playing a Thorn and hoping that they don't kill us. Maybe with the Monarch we draw, like, a Hydroblast. That'd be our best. Hey, what's going on, Lucky Oscar? Alright, Hydroblast would be our best draw. Thorn would be our pretty close to our worst draw, but that's okay. Epicure. Okay, they can get the Snacker back just by double Blood token now, which if they have any more Snackers would be bad. Although discarding a Blood, or excuse me, a Flame Breather, that's aggressive. And an End the Festivities. I guess this is their goal to try to take the Monarch, but or their plan. Envelop is good, so I'm just going to cast this down so they don't take the Monarch. And I don't think I'm going to attack, because if I do, they could just bolt. And I'm not going to play the Thorn because I want to hold up Envelop. Alright, we're just passing. More counter spells, please. Not what I... That's not what I ordered. Alright, pass. There we go. Fairy Seer. I'm going to Pyro it. Okay, well, let's attack for 1. I could draw a counterspell, which would make playing this Thorn worse, but I have no way of knowing if that's what I'm going to do, so I'd rather just get the 1/3 down, I think. And I still have an Envelop, which is good. Brine Bear is fine. Start killing them with a bunch of 1/2s and 1/3s. Alright, they just concede. Alright, we were able to get one against Red Madness, which is really good, because that first match against Red Madness made it feel like it was going to be almost impossible. But we got a 3-2 with the deck. That's not bad. So, this deck was very interesting. I think we just had a little bit of bad luck with the Peppersmokes. They were good a couple times. Honestly, picking off a Snacker, like using a removal spell on a Snacker always feels terrible, right? But if it costs 1 mana and it draws you a card back, it's really not that bad. So against the Madness matchups, I didn't mind it. It was really good, actually. But we played against a Tokens deck where it was basically useless, and we played against a Teamer Cascade deck that had either enormous creatures or 1/1s that all could sacrifice, like Steve and stuff, so that was not very good either. We didn't go against Elves, which obviously Peppersmoke would be incredible against, but I think this has a lot of potential. I don't think I did not tap the Pixie Illusionist a single time to make black mana off of the islands. We almost always had our mana already. Maybe there were some times where I could have done that instead of attacking and it would have been better. Maybe I missed some of that, but I didn't really see any times where I could have done that. It's 1 league, so it's a very small sample size, but definitely for this league, I would have preferred this to be Fairy Miscreants or something. But yeah, I think Peppersmoke is pretty interesting, and I would definitely consider playing this some more in the future. But yeah, that's my thoughts. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.